despite the many controversies of the Duterte, do you believe you can slay her?
Salamat ng mga korap. Hindi ako nanalo ng presidente. Kung nanalo ako, lahat sila kulungan na.
Gago!
Palakpas!
In favor of China.
Defense of China, nor a retreat from our sovereign right.
Magandang araw. Walang lumalabas na boses.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
No boses, no problem. Let's go.
Magandang araw mga banateros at mga kababayan kong Pilipino sa iba't ibang panig ng mundo. Ako po si Master Judea at tayo po ay nagbabalik para ipaglaban ang karapatan at manawagan para matupad ang pinapangarap natin sa ating bansang minamahal, ang matiwasay, masaya at maunlad na Pilipinas.
Sana all.
Kaya sabay-sabay tayong sisigaw para ang boses natin ay umalingaw-ngaw. Dahil pag maraming sumisigaw mas malakas at kapag mas malakas mas mabilis tayong maririnig ng kinaukulan. Kaya tara na mga kababayan, banatan natin ang mga tiwalik, mga magnanakaw at lahat ng nagpapahirap sa ating bayan.
Lalaban tayo!
At ito na ang unang arangkada, Makabayan Block, walang kadala-dala. Nagsampa na naman ng impeachment case laban kay VP Sara. Ano ba naman itong mga ito, ang lalakas ng loob? Wala naman silang silbi sa mundo. Walang silbi pero sila pa ang gustong maghari-harian. Kaya naman lahat sila pinagtatawanan. Ito na mga kababayan, umpisahan na ang tawanan. Oh, di ba nakakatawa sila? Parang mga syunga na nagpaparada, tapos si Franz Castro ang leader nila. Pero pakinggan natin ang kalokohan na ginawa nila at sigurado ako muli na naman itong mababasura.
Habang tinatalakay ang mga impeachment complaint laban sa Pangulo sa Kamara, dalawang panibagong impeachment complaint naman ang inihain laban kay Vice President Sara Duterte. Narito ang express report ni Mobile Journal Amy Atienza.
Dalawang bagong reklamo ng impeachment ang ibinagsak laban kay VP Sara. Una naglaan ang reklamo mula sa grupong Makabayan na muling nagbigay diin sa anilay betrayal of public trust ni Duterte. Lalong-lalo na ang paggasta ng 612.5 million pesos na confidential funds ng OVP at Department of Education. Dagdag pa riyan ang anilay gross disregard of principle of transparency.
Ang public official ay talagang kino-consider with utmost, dapat may utmost trust ang mga tao. Nakita naman natin yung wala talagang transparency and accountability. This is a tantamount to malversation, of misappropriation or misuse of public funds. Hindi siya sumasagot doon sa mga tanong sa lahat ng committee, kahit na yung sa mga budget hearings. So nag-asal pusit ang Vice President kaugnay dito.
As of VP Sara Duterte, itong 2025 budget deliberations for the 2026 budget. Kung matatandaan natin, may halos boycott ng nangyayaring budget hearing. Ito po ay taliwas doon sa dapat na functions ng public official kapag sinasalang po ang budget niya sa deliberations ng Kamara.
Pero ano ang bago sa kanilang impeachment complaint ngayong 2026? Ayon sa grupo, idinagdag daw nila dito ang mahalagang testimonya ni Ramil Madriaga na nagpakilalang dating bagman ng BICE. Siya ang nagbunyag na sponsored umano ng drug dealers at pogos ang electoral campaign ni VP Sara noong 2022.
Tumanggap siya ng cash mula dun sa mga security officers ni Vice President Sara Duterte. Tumutugma yung timeline niya doon sa mga narinig na natin na testimonya ng mga special disbursing officers kaugnay ng pag-withdraw ng pera at pagbibigay nito sa mga security officers.
Kasunod niyan, naghain na rin ng isa pang impeachment complaint ang ilan pang civil society groups. Inendorso ito ni Akbayan Party List Representative Percy Sendanya at mamamayang Liberal Party List Representative Laila De Lima.
It's about time na panagutin na si VP Sara yung pag-dismiss, yung impeachment complaint o yung pag-declare as unconstitutional nung impeachment process ay on technicality lang, on procedural grounds. Wala pa tayo sa substantive. And that's why this new petition is just really a reiteration of the substantive grounds of the previous complaint.
Maliban sa maling paggamit ng pondo, naging bahagi rin ng pangalawang reklamo ang umano'y pagkakasangkot ni VP Sara sa extrajudicial killing sa administrasyon ni dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Samantala, hindi na raw ikinagulat ng kampo ng bise ang mga panibagong impeachment complaint. Giit nila, tulad daw ng sabi ng Supreme Court, nakabase dapat ang isang impeachment sa ebidensya at hindi sa mga alegasyon o propaganda. Handa rin daw silang harapin ang mga alegasyon ng patas at naaayon sa saligang batas. Nagbabalita mula sa Frontline, kapatid Model Journal Amy Atienza, News 5.
Ito, alam nila na walang kasalanan si VP Sara. Pero ipinagpipilitan nila, alam niyo kung bakit. Dudurugin sila ni VP Sara kapag naging presidente siya. At ito pa isa na kahit nagmumukhang tanga, okay lang sa kanya. Akalain mo ba naman kaya daw niya talunin si VP Sara? Risa, pasok, magpatawa ka.
Ma'am, despite the many controversies of the Duterte, the confidential funds, the impeachment, the Hague detention, do you believe you can slay her?
In a manner of speaking.
Of course, in a manner only. I believe the opposition can slay even her candidature. And that's why I'm open or willing. The opposition is working hard on uniting because it's only if we unite that we will have a fighting chance. But if we unite and if we campaign smarter, if we reach out, accompany, listen to, hear, act on what Filipino citizens and voters are saying and will be saying for the next 2.5 years, we can slay her.
Is the opposition fragmented at the moment?
It's not that it's fragmented, it's that we need to consolidate even more than we were able to in 2022. I think we did so more in the midterms in last year, but we need to do so even more for 2028. And that's what we're applying ourselves to right now.
Any more questions from the floor? Barnaby?
President in 2028.
I will run if the united opposition chooses me.
Which means there's no choice yet.
Oh, it's a work in progress. Yes, there's a process going on.
Okay ka lang, Marisa. Tingnan mo nga ang reaksyon ng mga tao sa sinasabi mo. Puro nakatawa. Alam niyo, style nila yan. Kaya nila magmukhang okay kahit nasasaktan na sila. In short, mapagkunwari sila. At ito pa isa nagpaparamdam na mukhang may balak na naman sa politika. Akalain mo kung siya daw ang nanalong presidente, nakakulong na ang mga magnanakaw. Para mo namang sinabi na mahina si Marcos Jr. Pacquiao pasok.
May matinding patama ang boxing legend at dating senador na si Manny Pacquiao sa mga sangkot sa flood control scandal. Matagal na rin daw niyang ibinunyag ang mga anomalya noong nasa politiko pa siya. Nagbabalik si Hannah T. para sa detalye.
Kasalanan ay mga korap. Di ako nanalo ng presidente. Kung nanalo ako, lahat sila kulungan na.
Pinagdarasal ni former senator at boxing legend Manny Pacquiao ang mga sangkot sa flood control scandal. Anya, sana raw makamit na ng Pilipinas ang totoong hustisya. Nasa hot seat ngayon ang mga dati niya na rin kasamahan sa Senado, kasama si dating Senador Bong Revilla na sumuko na sa mga otoridad. Sina Senator Jinggoy Estrada at Joel Villanueva na pinaparatangang tumanggap umano ng kickback sa mga proyekto. Bilang dating chairperson ng Senate Committee on Public Works, nung siya pa ay mambabatas, matagal na raw niyang inilahad ang malaking problema sa infra projects, gaya ng sa flood control, rock netting at iba pa. Pero tila hindi raw maganda ang reaksyon ng publiko rito noon.
Lahat yan. Kompleto ako sa mga ebidensya, lahat yan. Pero sabi ng taong bayan, sinungaling ako, ganyan. When I saw the comments like, oh sige, sinungaling ako din. Kung ano man yung kahinatnan ng bansa natin, because of the people din yan. So, ganun yan eh. What I'm trying to say now is like, there's God that we need to ask guidance.
Kinilala ni Pacquiao ang aksyon ng Marcos administration sa pagsiwalat nito sa maanumalyang flood control projects dahil nagising daw ang mga Pilipino sa usapin ng korupsyon. Nakafocus ngayon ang boxing legend sa kanyang business ventures. Hindi pa raw nakikita ni Pacquiao ang pagbabalik sa politika dahil masaya raw ang buhay niya kasama ang pamilya. Pero mapapolitics man, inside the ring o private individual, patuloy naman daw ang pagbibigay niya ng serbisyo sa publiko.
Ayan na nagpaparamdam na siya, ganyan din yan dati. Wala daw siya balak tumakbo pero pagkatapos ng boxing tumakbo, mag-boxing ka na lang kaya sir, dun ka magaling. Huwag ka na magpolitika, hindi mo naman kaya. Ang dami ng pabigat sa politika, dadagdagan mo. Tingnan mo itong kausap ni Senator Marcoleta, puro patawa pinagagawa.
Kaya po nagiging importante na kailangan po natin munang pag-aralan hanggang saan eksakto po ang coordinates ba ng ating West Philippine Sea. Dito po sa binabanggit nating mga batas sa ngayon, kung titingnan natin, hindi po natin sila magagamit, Mr. President. Kaya napakahirap po ngayon nating sagupain yung mga pananaw na parang may nag-aangkin ng atin pero hindi pa natin ma-define kung ano talaga yung atin. Kaya po dito ako nagsisimula, Mr. President.
Mr. President, if I may be allowed, again, I don't see the point. Are we trying to say here that the arbitral ruling was erroneous? And therefore, we should stop claiming what was awarded us. I don't see the logic, Mr. President. We were awarded by the arbitral tribunal. It is ours. Now, is the gentleman saying the tribunal was mistaken, and therefore what was awarded to us should not have been awarded to us because of these problematic? Well, at least from the point of view of the good senator, problematic definition of what the West Philippine Sea is. I beg to disagree, Mr. President. Besides, the arbitral ruling did not touch on the issues being raised today by the good senator. And even if it did, assuming it did, hypothetically, we were still awarded. And we were, our claim and our rights were recognized, and China's rights were rejected. Are we saying here now, Mr. President, that we have to go back to the arbitral ruling, to the tribunal, present a new definition of what constitutes West Philippine Sea so that they can amend or they can set aside the award? Please, I would appreciate being clarified.
Let me clarify, Mr. President. Are we getting the impression that the West Philippine Sea was awarded to us by the arbitral tribunal on a silver platter? Sinabi po niya kung nasaan yung ating mga coordinates?
Well, Mr. President,
tayo po ay merong entitlement sa 200...
Again, Mr. President, assuming that these have to be defined, I think we can define that by Philippine law. Assuming, I'm without conceding that there is no definition because we believe that it has been properly defined, and the maritime base. Oh, we were.
Meanwhile,
in public service. Recent public controversy has involved a senior spokesperson of the Philippine Coast Guard, particularly his lecture at the La Salle University, where a caricature of Chinese President Xi Jinping was reportedly displayed in discussing West Philippine Sea issues. Let me state clearly, this is not a defense of China nor a retreat from our sovereign rights. This is an honest call for discipline, propriety, and adherence to the standards required of public officials under our laws. Republic Act 6713, the Code of Conduct and Ethical Standards of Public Officials and Employees, provides clear guidance. Among its provisions, Section 2 emphasizes public officials shall always be accountable to the people and shall discharge their duties with utmost responsibility, integrity, competence, and loyalty. Section 4A requires that officials shall at all times uphold public interest over personal interest. Section 4B mandates
I am insulted that a member of this Congress will stand up in favor of China. Madam Speaker, Jay Tariela is doing his job as spokesman of the Philippine Coast Guard. Because the very reason why this spokesman has to move and act is because China has been violating the sovereign rights of the Filipino people, the Republic of the Philippines.
Are you out of your mind?
For so many years, bombarding our vessels, now with water cannons, lasering our officials and our Coast Guard. So therefore, where are we for? For whom are we for? I'd like to ask the Honorable Minority Leader, because I am really, at this point, I cannot understand why we are protecting China, who has been the cause of all this aggression. One of our Coast Guard lost his finger, and then here we come in this house to question that act of having caricature. China has caricatured so many of our leaders, Madam Chair. It has hired, Madam Chair, trolls. It has hired traitors in this country, Filipinos, paid for. So therefore, Madam Chair, I would like to state here, I'd like to ask again, are you still insisting, Minority Leader, that our spokesman of the Philippine Coast Guard has violated the Code of Conduct of Public Officials? Because I would like you to read each one of what you have cited, and I will show that he has complied with all the laws of our country. In his heart and mind, it is to protect the Republic of the Philippines. For who will protect us? Will it be the Chinese? Of course not. It will have to be our people. It will have to be our officials. It will have to be the Coast Guard. They are the ones in charge of the integrity and sovereignty of our people, of our own seas. Madam Chair, the UNCLOS is very clear and decided already, Madam Speaker, by the Arbitral Tribunal Award of July 12, 2016. All the 7 points of China were all debunked by the Hague Arbitral Tribunal. The 9 line is illegal. All the developments are illegal. And yet I hear somebody from this August chamber would question our official and favor China. The Senate already passed a resolution, 15 of them, that supports, supports our stand, Madam Chair. The stand of Jay Tariela, whom we should support. And that is why I cannot accept this. I cannot accept this as a Filipino. Patriotism includes hitting China because they're the ones hitting us. We have to protect ourselves in defense of our country. Article 1 of the Constitution, Madam Speaker, is on national territory that is being threatened by China. So therefore, I'd like to ask, because I would like him to now again state the code of conduct, and I'm going to debate with the Minority Leader that there is no violation at all of Tariela. It is the Chinese government with President Xi violating everything that we have, from the Constitution to all the laws and international law.
Madam Speaker, precisely this privileged speech, so that we shall know, did the Department of Foreign Affairs, who is the department entrusted with the authority to deliver our messages to this country, authorized Jay Tariela. And I am not defending China, Madam Speaker. As I said in my speech, what I am saying is that we have to act with professionalism, discipline, and manage our international relations properly, Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker, the DFA has its functions. The Philippine Coast Guard with its spokesman has its functions. And certainly, the agency affected by this is the Philippine Coast Guard because they protect all our coasts and our seas. We therefore cannot say that the DFA, according to a senator, he has talked to the DFA. In fact, I'm going to call the DFA. Are you saying that J. Tariela did the wrong thing by coming out and protecting our country? Let us hear from the DFA. Because if they do that, they don't deserve to sit in the Department of Foreign Affairs. My goodness, since this last year, 200 plus protests, notes verbal, every day for more than 5 years, 365 days. The Chinese vessels are intruding in Scarborough Shoal, intruding in the Kalayaan Island Group, in all our 200-mile nautical zone, which is our exclusive economic zone under the UNCLOS and decided by the Arbitral Tribunal. So I'd like to, I have to react on this, Madam Chair. I hope the minority leader recants his speech. Because if not, then he, Madam Chair, he has therefore failed in his duty and his oath to this Congress, the representatives of the people, that we have to therefore agree with China's complaint, the complaint of that ambassador. Because now they are hurt because the truth is coming out and we have a strong spokesman. And so I hope the minority leader withdraws his statement. Otherwise, I will be the one to make sure that there will be an ethics probe on this. A congressman taking up the cudgels of our aggressor in the West Philippine Sea. Definitely, I'm going to file an ethics charge because he has failed in his duty to protect and defend the Constitution of the Philippines. Article 1 is national territory. So I now call, please withdraw that because otherwise there will be a charge. I'm going to file, Madam Chair, in his presence now because I cannot in conscience accept what he has said. We are all Filipinos. We took the oath to defend the Philippine Constitution, to obey the laws of the land, and a signatory to the United Nations Convention of the Law of the Sea. We are also obligated. So therefore, can be no compromise on this. We cannot compromise national security. Therefore, I would like the gentleman to withdraw his privileged speech.
Madam Speaker, ako po'y nire-request na mag-withdraw ng aking privilege speech, hindi ko po i-withdraw po yan. Ito po ay aking personal na paniniwala sa mga nangyayari dahil tingnan mo yung umaabot na tayo sa napakataas na nasa Senado, marami ng issues, lahat po ng batas na ipinasa natin dito sa Kongreso ay sinuportahan ko po. Ito lang, nakita na natin na sinabi mismo ng Presidente na yung pag-declare ng persona non grata umabot na sa pag-declare ng persona non grata ng ambassador ng China. Sinabi niya it is the last resort. Ibig sabihin, pero hindi ko importante na si J. Tariela lang ang sinasabi ko dito. Ang sinasabi ko po dito na magkaroon tayo ng isang direksyon na pinamumunuan ng Department of Foreign Affairs para maging tama yung approach natin, hindi tayo misunderstood.
Madam Speaker, the issue is not persona non grata. The issue is the statement and the caricatures of J. Cariela, the actions of the spokesman. And the issue is not persona non grata, and I agree with the President. But the issue that he is saying is that our own official committed violations of the Code of Conduct of Ethical Standards of Public Officials, which to me is really unfounded, baseless, and skewed towards the interests of the People's Republic of China.
Madam Speaker, hindi ko po sinabi na mismo siya ay nag-violate ng ating Code of Conduct. Ang sinasabi ko lang, let us observe our Code of Conduct of Code of Professional Ethics and Ethical Standards para hindi tayo sumabit sa mga ganitong problema at ma-directly supervise ng ating Department of Foreign Affairs ang mga pangyayari ito para hindi ito mamishandle. Madam Speaker, hindi po ako magkukulang sa pagmamahal sa aking bayan. Hindi po ako magkukulang para ipaglaban ang teritoryo ng Pilipinas. Kilala, parehas tayo taga-Samar, gentleman from Cagayan de Oro, at ididipinsa ko po ang aking bansa. Pero nandito po ako in this August chamber bilang minority leader na kahit yun po ang pakiusap ko palagi sa minority. Kahit nagagalit po kayo, kahit anong sentimento nyo, iklaro nyo with professionalism ang sinasabi nyo para marinig tayo. Dahil pag sumisigaw tayo palagi, hindi po tayo maririnig. Madam Speaker, palagay ko, ang boses ko ay mas malaki sa boses ng gentleman from Cagayan de Oro.
Session suspended.
Pero nagsasalita ko ng mahinahon po dito.